A little drowning pool to start your day.
Doesn't sound very good.
No, this isn't as clear. Well, I'm going to use the one. Oh, there it is.
Very low.
Yeah, let me see.
This is like during the days of Heidenreich.
Yeah.
Don't even. Oh, wow.
We're gonna have to sound check.
Yeah, I'm gonna
go
because
live,
every
dude.
time we do, this is 2 weeks in a row and I fucked that up. So anyway, let's see if I can leave drowning pool on in the background.
Between
I might
that
have a
and
different
the
solution.
rainstorm coming from our intern Ryan, it's gonna be a hell of an
So-
hour, folks.
We'll be good.
Saddle up.
I was just thinking because they were before the show they were debating which SmackDown theme, whether the Beautiful People, which is so weird to think that Marilyn Manson had a theme with the WWE, especially nowadays.
Yeah, true.
I don't think they would touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Oh, definitely not.
No.
Marilyn Manson. And the other thing I was thinking of was, is it a Raw? I think it's the Raw theme. Remember the old Raw theme, "Thorn in Your Eye," and nobody knows nobody really knows the words. You know that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so nobody actually. I
don't.
don't think anybody ever knew the words, including the guy that sang the song. But here we are. And SmackDown's actually had, I think, SmackDown had some good themes. Raw has a couple good themes in the past, but I think SmackDown might have more good themes. I don't know.
I appreciated the Union Underground from Raw.
I just wanna be loved. Yeah, that was the one.
That was catchy.
That was the one I remember the most. Maybe not.
It was because the first the intro with I think it was Divas.
That was around when Jeff Hardy was huge.
Yep, that was like the Jeff back when everybody thought Kofi Kingston was going to be a main eventer. That was a nice time to be alive.
That was
he hasn't done bad for himself, but everybody kind of assumed he'd be WWE champion by now.
Yeah.
You'd
The
think.
New Day was the best thing to ever happen to him.
Leaps and bounds, the best
I
thing.
mean, listen, not for nothing for all of them, actually, because let's be honest, Xavier Woods would have gone absolutely nowhere. He's talented as hell, and it has nothing to do with lack of talent by any means.
Do you remember when he first came up?
Well, I mean, I
with
remember when he was
R-Truth?
Consequences Creed in
Yeah.
TNA, and,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he was like Apollo from Rocky. He had the
Yeah.
trunks and everything. But I just, to me, I just never really imagined him going anywhere. Kofi was steady mid-card, and Big E was kind of like the bodyguard type, and, that could have gone either way. So the fact that the three created this whole, what we know now as New Day, it really has shaped their careers to the point where they will eventually be Hall of Famers and put in as the New Day, because they have
for sure.
so many different, what am I looking for? So many
Barriers, glass ceiling?
barriers.
There
Yeah,
you
I mean, 5-time
Knocking
champs.
down
And,
doors.
yeah,
No.
I mean, and
No,
listen,
John
I mean,
Cena-
they came
John
up
Cena's
with their
bedroom,
own
not behind the
fucking
door.
cereal. I mean, Budios became a thing.
I was just gonna say it wasn't even a real cereal. It was a fiction, which is the even more screwed up. It was a fictional cereal that they just came up with one day and started talking about.
And they
They like visual. It was like The Secret. They visualized it and it came to life. For those of you who haven't guessed, this is the War Report brought to you by TagMeADate.com. I think if 6 minutes in, if you didn't get the point, you're not going to get it. So this is the War Report brought to you by TagMeADate.com, the first and only dating site exclusively for fans of pro wrestling. It's free to sign up, free to send messages, free to find your tag team match on TagMeADate.com. You can search by location, favorite wrestler, lots of other options for you on the search, including location searching. iOS and Android apps are waiting for approval from their respective certification boards or whatever they are. And once they're up, we'll let you know. We can download them and you can find your match via an app.
We will definitely be making an announcement, and it will be heard first before any social media here on the War Report when we will
I agree.
officially be releasing. So definitely tune in. And of course, follow us on all social media for the announcement. The announcement is coming soon.
We are pre-announcing our announcement.
We are pre-announcing the fucking announcement. Hell yes. And I promise everyone too, it's going to be worth the wait. We really have taken our time. I know I made a lot of promises that we were going to release early in the year. Doesn't obviously appear that that's going to happen, but for me, it's better to make sure that, you know, when we release
you
this
want it done correctly.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want a million and one emails and comments saying that it's shit and it's not working. We want to come out strong right off the gate and make it a great experience for everybody. So, you know, it'll be, let's just put it this way. It will definitely be out in time for you to find somebody to go to WrestleMania with. So that's the plan. And there might even be a little something with our announcement and possibly tickets to WrestleMania. So stay tuned. You never know. Things are going to go down.
Well, that sounds interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you'll just have to
thinking.
Ooh, yeah. I guess you'll just have to tune into the show or to see. That's what we in the business call a tease.
Oh, that's a tease. Oh, that's right, Craig.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm glad we've sufficiently pre-announced the announcement. Can't wait to see it. I mean, I've seen it. I've already, spoiler alert, we've all seen it, but I can't wait for everybody else to see it. I guess I should say, because it is. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. I almost muted myself. It's definitely a cool app, and I think people will enjoy using it. I mean, if you like using the site is already pretty easy to use, and this is just an extension of that. The good thing is the site itself, you can use it on the mobile device and or your tablet, and it scales to the screen already, so you're fine. Yeah, I'm a big mark. I have the WWE Championship on my phone. Sue me. But it's the app is just an extension of that, and it makes it a little bit easier to use. I had to find a bunch of boxes to stand this small. I have a tiny microphone stand because my big microphone stand broke. This is how you knew it was going to be an interesting show. Before we even started, my microphone stand broke, so we were doomed from the rip if this thing goes south. But we'll be back stronger. But anyway, we're going to kick off today's show talking about, I don't know what, because SmackDown 1000 is coming up. But then there's a Saudi Arabia thing going on. We've seen Dolph and Drew and Braun wrestle the Shield for the 1,000th time, but also perhaps the last time. So
well,
maybe that's
now,
important.
And that's the thing when we get into Raw, because I was kind of sitting there when they set up the main event. I'm saying, oh, Jesus Christ, another fucking time. I don't even want to watch it. But in the end, it set up something that could be awesome. And that, of course, is the push that Drew McIntyre is about to get. So we definitely have a lot to cover. And I've always been a big fan of McIntyre, minus the whole 3MB. I try to pretend that never happened. But Drew Vince McMahon saw something in this kid a long time ago and said he was going to be the chosen one. And it took a little longer than I think Vince expected. But in the end of the day, Vince knows what he's doing, and it's going to come to fruition because he will be a future world champion. That's a guarantee.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
Quick question though: is this going to come at the expense of Braun though?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
I want to talk about that too.
But it could be. I mean, listen, if Dolph is just caught those hands and he's done now with this group, then although he's still got Drew, I guess it's going to be him and Drew against Braun now. I don't know who's going to be the babyface in this situation.
No, I think it's solely going to just be Drew McIntyre versus Braun.
Yeah, but they still have the belts, don't they?
Yep.
Oh, right, that's true.
So they got to resolve that. Maybe they lose him, and then Drew splits from Dolph too. I don't know, but I think we're going in that direction where you're right. It's going to be Braun and Drew.
You could still have Drew as the world champion and Dolph as little Hype man.
Oh, poor Dolph Ziggler. Is this really where it's been destined for him to go now? Like,
Yeah, I mean, but it's really sad because Dolph Ziggler is so goddamn talented, and I just you almost want to sit there and say, who the hell has he pissed off all these years?
Right?
But you know what I mean? Like he's
WrestleMania 29, and then the Raw after WrestleMania 29. This was 2013. This is 2018.
Injury.
He cashed in the Money in the Bank and beat Alberto, and the roof
Biggest
flew
pop
off
I've
of
ever
his.
fucking heard.
And then Alberto kicked him in the head and said, "I will be the Goldberg to your Bret Hart. Don't have a stroke about it." And that was it.
And that's Dolph's fault.
Yeah, and
Now he's injury prone.
yeah, right. Now it's Dolph's fault that he's injury prone, just like it's Seth Rollins' fault that he injures a bunch of wrestlers. Yeah, you see the kitty, one of the kitties back there. This is the less fat kitty. But it's sad because I've still got my pink it's not showing off whatever the hell, I'm just damn good, whatever t-shirt. I've still got that shirt. I'm a big Dolph supporter, but
He's amazing.
I think it was it's not showing off if you can back it up.
yeah, I know I'm dyslexic.
I mean, seriously, at the end of the day, anybody out there that could potentially try and make a case and say anything negative about Dolph Ziggler is a fucking idiot. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy can be a heel, the guy can be a face, the guy is phenomenal in the ring, and I don't mean just phenomenal because he's that good, but he fucking makes every single person he gets in that ring look good. He
Absolutely.
sells like nobody else. He's great on the microphone. He's got a great look. He's got it all. And, you know, we just can't use him right. It's just, I thought him and Drew was great together. I'm glad to see the split because I'm a big mark for Drew McIntyre too. But at the end of the day, it's just, I don't know. It's getting a little.
Who doesn't love a good tag team breakup storyline anyway? You know, that's always a fun one. We get to see, not that everybody falls into there's a Shawn and a Marty, because I think occasionally it slips in where both guys end up becoming main eventers.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see the trajectory of both of those guys if they do a traditional breakup or blow off for the tag team. I really don't know. I mean, are they going to put? I assume they would put Drew over and then continue on, and he goes and faces Braun. That's just my assumption, but I don't know that for certain. But then one of my cats has its head stuck in a tin can and is dragging it across the kitchen floor. But like Ryan said, is Drew's new push going to be at the expense of Braun Strowman's push that got held up at the expense of Roman Reigns? The whole thing is just it all rolls back. Listen, I'm sorry, guys. I know it's been 15 minutes, though. It took me 15 minutes to bring up how Roman Reigns is ruining Raw. So we're getting better. Maybe next week it'll be 20. We'll do this in increments.
Maybe at one point we won't talk about Roman Reigns.
Yeah, when he gets traded to SmackDown when they go to Fox.
Well, listen.
Oh, no, we talked about that in the messenger. Yeah.
I mean, if the rumors are true, which, listen, anything could change, but there are rumors going around that once they go to Fox, they're going to merge the brands back together, which may not be a bad idea.
They haven't proven that they're able to handle half the roster well. Why are they going to – why put them together and then more of them are going to get – like this whole this Evolution, we're getting so close to it. This Evolution pay-per-view thing is starting to bug me. Are there any women's? I mean, it's been bugging me a little, and now it's critical mass of.
Well, let's talk about that. What exactly is it that's bothering you? I mean,
are there any SmackDown women's matches? First of all, aside from Becky and Charlotte, like I feel like they're underrepresented.
I can't think of any.
I mean, Ryan, can you pull up the card right now?
That's what I'm doing
let's see
right now.
exactly, because I don't even know the whole card. I know there's a few matches that I am, somewhat, I don't even know I could say excited, but I want to see. There's one, I definitely want to see Trish and Lita back together again in the ring. I think that's going to be a good match.
But I also, I kind of wanted to see, somebody brought up, was it Eric that brought up Ember Moon and Asuka?
Yeah, they're both in the.
Are they not? They're just in the Battle Royal.
They're in the happy to be
How
here. Battle
asinine
Royal.
is that Asuka's in the fucking battle royal?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't they have main event players in the pre-show battle royal? You know, it's
They
just
should have had every new talent facing whatever older generation talent that could still wrestle go.
Yeah.
That would be what Evolution should be.
yeah. And Evolution is also. I'm sorry. I know the promo was fire by Ronda last night, but
Ronda
Yeah.
was
the
fantastic.
Bellas should not
Fantastic.
be sniffing a main event. Everything. The problem with her promo though is everything she said was true.
Uh-huh.
And made it personal, which was
And-
great.
Right, but it also makes it like if I don't think they're going to win, but think of it if the Nikki
Oh
Bella
God, if
won,
they win.
then
They're not
that-
going to be. They're not. Nikki Bella is not going to be the one to defeat.
No, I
Ronda.
know, but if she did, that would mean that whole you slept your way to the top thing. You didn't need to learn how to wrestle. Whatever the hell else is true.
Mhm.
If they win, proves it true. She
But
needs-
it's not. I mean, come on, Vince. There's no way. There's absolutely no way out of all the
I
women
keep
on that
saying that.
roster, Nikki
I keep
Bella's
saying
going to
that
be
there's
the
no
one
way,
to-
and I agree with you, but this is the WWE we're talking about, and this is a WWE that no longer has to give a shit about how well their pay-per-views do because the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Fox Sports Network are paying them a lot of money, and they don't have to give a shit about whether or not people boo the finish to their pay-per-views.
That
I'm just
doesn't mean
saying,
that they don't.
it has-
That doesn't mean
They've
that
done
they
it
don't
before.
care, though.
What if you do a like slip on the banana finish?
I was, you know what? I took a nap earlier, and I had a terrible thought as I went to go take a nap. Twin magic.
I was just that just popped in my head.
But
is that
Twin
even
Magic
possible
can't
these
work
days?
anymore because they don't look the same.
And one has much bigger tits.
Yeah,
Well,
but did they have her
that-
stuff?
That's
in her bra?
a big part of why they don't look the same.
Yeah.
As Dave Meltzer would say, she's looking a little heavier these days. Mostly in the chest, though. Yeah, but didn't they have one where Brie stuffed her bra
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the last year? So it's
Yeah,
possible.
and then she was ripping out her tissue.
But even the face wise, they don't look the same.
No, I know.
You know.
Yeah.
But if it's a pin, like that's the thing. If it's a pin, and your head's down or whatever.
Yeah, that's
In
true.
the face.
I have a feeling they're going to break that out as a near fall, but it can't be the finish of the match.
Ugh.
Finish of the match has to be armbar, tap out, clean. Everybody goes home happy, fireworks. You know.
What if Ronda grabs both of them in like a double armbar?
Well, like she did the Riot Squad, I'm okay with that.
I could see there being some kind of controversy or disqualification or something to keep it going if they want to continue the feud and not have it end.
Oh, no one knows. They should
Let's
not.
not.
Listen, I'm not saying that I want it to happen, but again, this is WWE, and I mean,
then-
Nikki Bella's not going away.
Can I put up a suggestion and maybe this? God, I'm gonna get. If anybody important listens to this podcast, I'm never gonna get a job. But hear me out here. Should we have a women's division and a divas division?
No, come on.
What I'm saying is,
You know what?
Your-
That's
your
not
belt-
a terrible idea.
your Breeze and your Nikki's and your Maria Kanellis's and those girls can be in the divas division, and then the real wrestlers. Sorry, Maria. The real wrestlers can be in the women's division.
No.
Like
10 years ago, I would
like
have said
Velvet
yeah.
Sky. Velvet Sky could be in the Divas division, but she couldn't be in the women's division. You know
Velvet
what I mean?
retired, didn't she?
I think she did, but I'm using her as like an example from
Example,
outside
I'm
outside the company of like if they brought somebody like Mercedes Martinez, women's division. It's just
Right.
there's different levels. So I don't know. I think like you said, it's not a great idea, but I feel like there has to be. They're doing the same nostalgia thing in the women's division that they're doing in the men's division, but the women's division of the past really isn't that deep unless you go back to like the Attitude Era, or even like the Ruthless Aggression, where you had Lay Cool and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So they're focusing on the old acts like DX, Undertaker, all this stuff. They're doing it in the women's division too. They dug up the Bellas when they could just have them on their reality show. I don't know. Something just it doesn't pass the eye test for me about this pay-per-view. I can't verbalize it. I think it's just I want the main roster women to be the focus of the show.
Yeah.
And I want them to go and I also want them to go over. That's the important thing. while also, yes, acknowledging that these other women paved the way in a sense. But they have
I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised.
the Bellas paved the way by stinking the joint up so bad they had to hire better women's wrestlers. That's really the only compliment I can give their wrestling ability is they were so bad they had to go out and find outside talent like Karma and bring them in.
This is what I have to think, and I'm hoping that I'm right, and I could be very wrong. I've been wrong before, but I really want to believe that since this is the first ever, they are going to pull out the stops. They are going to make this a hell of a pay-per-view so that it's something that people want to see year after year. Right. I really do. I have to believe that.
You know, I think so too, but part of me is like, are they like, I went through this thing in my head of like, are they booking this badly on purpose, or is this the best that they can do and it's just bad? Anyway, Ryan, did you have the matches? So we can.
Yeah, I sent it to the group. Even.
Oh, you sent it to the group. Okay.
Just so everybody could take a look instead of
old.
But you were correct. There was no other SmackDown match.
See, that's kind of crazy. Oh, Kairi against Shayna for the NXT Women's Championship. That's nice. That'll be a good one.
The Mae Young Classic.
I'm telling you right now, the Mae Young Classic is going to blow all the matches away.
That's funny. I was just going to say, where's Io Shirai? And there she is, and Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley's wrestling. All right, I'm less bothered, but I'm also still bothered by the fact that Ember Moon and Asuka are in the Battle Royal with the likes of Alicia Fox, Billie Kay, and Carmella.
And you got Tori Wilson returning in the Battle Royale.
And Tori Wilson's returning.
Well, but Tori Wilson sucked as a wrestler.
Oh, she was never good.
I'm just talking a return in the.
She could have been Mrs. A-Rod, and now she's not.
Well, listen, as far as I'm concerned, he hit the jackpot.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah,
I know, but I mean Tori Wilson. Okay, as far as women in wrestling go, Stacy Keibler and Tori Wilson were at the time.
Stacy Keibler.
Stacy Keibler blows everybody else out of the water.
100%.
Yeah.
George Clooney fucked up. You hear that, George?
Yeah, that's a true story.
I think he can sleep at night.
I think so because he's got like some hot Greek wife or something now. But I mean, geez.
Even without that,
that guy put up the numbers, as they say. Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, listen, these matches are probably going to be good. Like, here's the thing, though. Some of these are going to be like underground indie wrestling good. Like, I don't know if it's going to drive ticket sales. Like, are people going to come and see Kairi Sane unless you're a big Japanese wrestling fan or you've been following NXT? I don't know. Like, I want this show to do good. I would.
But that's what I'm saying. I think
there are only 6. Okay, you know what, guys? Let's have.
It's booked so poorly because
let's
they
have hope.
Evolution, but they're not evolving anything.
We have
NXT females and evolve them with current superstars.
We have
current superstars and evolve them with old superstars.
Yeah.
Well, see, now I don't disagree with what you're saying. I mean, that's true, but I still think there's time for them to just have some, surprises that we're just not expecting. You know what I mean? They want to have some element of surprise.
Because there's, including the Battle Royal, there were only 7 matches announced.
Right. So
tonight maybe we get something from someone. But I would like to see like a women's ladder match or a street fight or a falls count anywhere. I don't know. Have 2 tough girls go out there and beat the shit out of each other. I want to see wrestling.
Well, based on Raw last night, I can already predict one match right off the bat. It's going to be the Riot Squad against Sasha, Bailey, and Natalya.
Well, and listen, they had to do something with Sasha and Bailey. To not have them on that pay-per-view is absolutely ridiculous. So,
yeah, they definitely need to have those women on the show.
Specifically because they're not listed in the Battle Royal, so I assume they're going to have the 6-woman tag.
Yeah.
Well, how close are we to this pay-per-view?
The
28th. Okay. So
there's still time.
There's time to add matches. All right, maybe I'll feel better about it when they add some more matches because right now I'm just I don't know. I'm not jazzed about this I'm not jazzed about this Battle Royal deal, and I don't know. There's going to be some very good matches on here. Last woman standing. You know what? I'm a moron. I'm going to say this. I'm a dummy because I didn't realize Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair. It says right there to the right of it. Last woman standing.
Which is going to be fantastic.
That's going to be off the hook.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some good matches on here, but I don't know. I feel like they're not giving it the juice like they give other pay-per-views.
It's so crammed in other pay-per-views.
Yeah, because there's the Saudi Arabia thing, and then we're going to come up on another pay-per-view, and it's I know. But
Hey,
that's
by the way, did you guys see that spot with Charlotte and Becky on SmackDown last week through the LED?
Yeah,
I thought Charlotte was going to have a Goldberg scar or a Goldberg cut on her arm after that because she came up bleeding.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was a legit cut because she had enough time to kind of, put something on there. But
it wouldn't be a surprise if a Flair did a little zip, So
zip.
so they got a little zip. Although now that would be something. If they had Charlotte, she's way too pretty to be taking razor blades to her face. Don't do it. But that would be such an homage to her old man.
Oh,
if she did like a real old school blade job, came up with the crimson mask.
Would she have
it in her hair?
The question would be, would the blood soak into her hair like Flair?
It would have to.
Oh, that's what makes that.
It would ruin it.
Right. If it didn't, if she had that L'Oreal in there, if she went with the Pantene Pro V, it's not going to stick. She has to make sure her hair's a little bit drier than that. I don't know.
Maybe she's born with it.
Maybe she's born with it. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Now, Ric Flair could have been doing the commercials for that. Am I born with it? Woo! Maybelline.
What was the tagline? Is she worth it? And she just soaked in blood.
That would instead of a shower, instead of like that waterfall in the middle of the jungle somewhere that every shampoo commercial takes place on. She's just
remember the Vince McMahon slowly raising his head over the ring apron at a Mania match where he's looking deranged.
Oh, absolutely. I like that one, and then and then the edge where they took out the middle rope and it's just his eyes and his mouth with no nose. Oh, that's a creepy one. I'll have to find that. So Evolution, I want it to do well. I hope it'll sell out, and I hope the matches are good so that if people don't necessarily tune in live for it, it has enough buzz where people come back for the replay and watch it. I just want it to do well, especially since you've got Charlotte and Becky and Ronda and Nikki in the two main events.
And listen, I will say this too. I think Ronda and Nikki will not be a train wreck. I think it will be a decent match.
It'll be better than if it was Ronda and Brie for sure. Yeah,
well, yeah. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Nikki is a little better of a wrestler. You'd think the one that has less, as we said, top heaviness would be a little more than like the nimble one, but guess it wasn't the case. I think Ronda's going to do. I mean, that segment last night. Holy shit!
Ronda did a hell of a job, man. She made it personal. She stumbled a little bit, but it made it more real. You know what I'm saying? Like not scripted.
And I'll give the Bella Twins credit because they could have just said, no, you're not going to go out there and say that. Like the writers came back with it and they could have just been like, no, she's got to say something different. That's a little too close to home. It's a little too personal. And they took it. So,
and I could see Ronda being like, are you guys really okay with this? Like Ronda seems like that kind of,
Yeah, for sure. Anything else of importance aside from the split up? So the Ronda segment was important. The main event split up of Braun and Dolph and Drew's team. Dean and Ambrose and Rollins having their little thing there where they may split up is important. And then my favorite was not my favorite because Ronda was a favorite, but a great segment was Kurt sending the Conquistador out there.
Yes, that was great.
And then jumping Baron Corbin from behind, and then following it up with the shitty little Conquistador dance.
Yeah,
like that made the segment. Following it up with the little dance. Oh my god, Kurt's having the time of his life in this second career or third
vacation shirt.
I'm so glad he's back. I really am.
I'm glad he's not dead.
Yeah,
well, yeah, that's it.
That's a good.
God, I've been to some indie shows.
That was a bonus.
Oh man, but I've been to some indie shows where he was not in good shape. So I'm glad to see, you see the before and you see the after. Yeah, he was He was in a bad way. But that was fun. What do we, since we've talked about Dolph and Drew and Braun, where do we think we're going with the Shield thing now? Are they just going to squash the beef and be okay until the Rumble to lead up to WrestleMania, or what are we doing here?
That's a good question.
I'll be honest, I really don't know at this point, because if you asked me last week, I felt the Dean Ambrose heel turn was imminent, and now, you know, 1 minute they're shoving each other, about to, you know, finish each other off, and then there's, you know, they're coming out as the Shield at the end. I don't know. It's very confusing. You know, I don't know. I really don't know.
They're twisting and turning, which is actually good that
Yes.
it's not transparent. I feel like they could have done a little bit more of this teasing before the Australia thing, but I guess they wanted to make sure the Australia thing went the way they wanted, and everybody got, you know, big babyface reactions from the Shield because they were in Australia and they wanted, like, it's that first big event there.
Right.
So, but then they did the thing we said they should have done with Dean walking off and then the camera cutting with no resolution. They actually did that, which is nice. That sets up a question. And now it's all these like I love this part of the pro wrestling psychology where somebody's got a pin and the heel shoves the baby face and the baby face trips and hits the other baby face to break up the pin. And it's like, well, why'd you do that to me? And they're trying to explain it to each other. I wasn't doing it. It was him. Like the whole misunderstanding thing leading to a potential heel turn or breakup is I love that stuff. It's like old school wrestling stuff. I like the direction that, you know, during that match where he hooked him, Dean hooked him for the dirty deeds and then didn't hit it. And it's like, man, they're trying to build it to a point where these two, maybe they have a match and afterwards they shake hands and they're bros again. Maybe they just
just outright drop it.
Right? Yeah, because it seems like Roman's trying to be a peacemaker here. Maybe they both get sick of Roman and turn on him. There's a lot of ways you can go with three guys in the group. That's the thing.
That's a true story.
So at least they're teasing something now. The
What
biggest
if, Roman turns on both of them?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that would be the biggest shocker of them all because we're assuming that he's going to stay dead red babyface for the rest of his career, Roman Reigns, despite the fact that the crowd boos him. So he's definitely in the John Cena territory.
I will say this, though. Last night, at one point, there were some strong Roman chants. More so than usual. I'm not reading too much into it, but I am just saying that is something I did notice.
It's the same shit I said about John Cena 10 years ago, say about Roman Reigns now. I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's a bad worker. I think the booking is terrible and he got overpushed too fast, too soon. And because he's been shoved down our throats, people got sick of him. And maybe the Shield thing is like a little bit of a revival for him to get him back into that shape. I think it would be a nice story if at one point when he's kind of not with the Shield anymore and he's just a solo guy, if he, maybe Baron Corbin or whoever is the general manager at the time, you got to work your way up from the bottom. So he starts off wrestling fucking Epico and Primo, and then, you know, works his way up into the Intercontinental range and then works his way up into the world title range again and just kind of, you know, proves that he belongs. And even though he does belong in the main event, it almost feels like he didn't have that time to prove that he belonged in the main event. They just kind of put him there.
Right.
It's like, oh, now you're wrestling Brock Lesnar. Now you're wrestling Randy Orton. Now you're going to wrestle Triple H. Oh, how about, you know, it's just, we're going to throw Vince McMahon at you. We're going to put the Authority back together. We're going to do this. Oh my God. So it would be nice to see some story where, you know, he like kind of like Austin Powers lost his mojo and then he has to like reclaim his mojo. And I would be okay with that because I think it would show a different side of the character, a vulnerability to the character. He has flaws. He can make mistakes. People can capitalize on those mistakes. He doesn't always, and I'm not saying he always wins, and that's kind of a perception thing. He doesn't always win, but it seems like when it matters, he always pulls out the victory. So, you know, maybe they do a little journey where he loses his mojo. He gets rolled up a couple times. Somebody interferes or puts their foot on the ropes, whatever. He gets frustrated. He has to start back from the beginning and work his way up. I don't know. It'd be nice, but I don't see it happening, but in my mind, I see that because as he's working his way up, he gets to work with the lower level guys and elevate them. And even though he's winning, he should be making them look good, and those guys should be working to make themselves look good. So by the time he gets back, and while he's building his way up, somebody else is over as a world champion and an intercontinental champion, and he gets to build them up by having feuds with them. So then by the time he gets to the world title feud, you've already got 2 or 3 other big name guys built up as main eventers for him to feud with. I mean, I don't want to say wrestling's easy. It's not, but you got to pick a direction. SmackDown tonight. Sounds like remember Mac Tonight from McDonald's? There's no big moon face playing the piano. SmackDown tonight. SmackDown 1000. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Because I've been asking that for the last 4 weeks because I have no idea when the 1000th episode
We
is.
got Rey Mysterio returning.
Rey Mysterio returns full time.
With last I heard, he was wrestling AJ Styles for the title.
That's awesome. I see a dog. Big dog. That's the big dog. That's the real big dog.
Big
Right
dog.
there. They invited every SmackDown superstar back and Evolution. And I say and Evolution because Evolution was never on SmackDown.
Which is kind of weird. We'll see
Yeah.
Triple H as DX and Evolution in a week.
Yeah.
But individually, they were all on SmackDown.
Yes,
at one point.
individually they were. But as a group, the group was solely a Raw act.
Yeah.
What all the guys went through, and I think they all won the world title, except for Rick on SmackDown.
Out of all 4 guys, the one that represents SmackDown the most probably be Batista.
Yeah, I would say Batista. Well, Randy Orton had a good SmackDown run. He was the champ for WrestleMania 2 years ago or a year ago, Orlando.
With the feud with Undertaker.
Yeah, feud with the Undertaker way back when Bob Orton was there. They had the Hell in a Cell. That was like 07. Providence.
We also
Backlash.
got Undertaker on SmackDown.
Yep, Undertaker. It sounds like the Hardy Boys are going to be there.
What's Edge's deal?
I think Edge is invited and Christian.
They've been in the promo video saying being there live. They keep showing Edge.
I think it's going to be the Cutting Edge.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
There will be cutting edge from what I
So that'll be fun because
what
then
else
maybe.
can you do with Edge. No offense.
Yeah, I
Do
know.
you
Because
think they're going to dedicate it to Eddie Guerrero?
it would be nice if maybe Chavo came out or something, or Vicky.
Rusev is no, sorry, he's facing Shinsuke.
Who's
Yeah.
facing Shinsuke?
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That'll be a good match.
Initially, it was AJ Styles. I saw a while back.
Yeah, that's either one of those
Either
would be a
one
good
will
match.
fun.
But they want to sell a pay-per-view with AJ and Ray, I'm sure.
We got Rusev and Miz.
Is that's not for anything, right? No title.
No, that's for the spot in the World Cup.
the World Cup where every wrestler's American.
Yep. The American Cup.
Yeah, seriously, there's
Why do you say it like that? That makes perfect sense to me.
American.
just like the World Series and the Super Bowl.
It's the American World Cup.
Yeah, seriously.
America's world.
Could you throw a cup? I mean, man, there's 10 people in it, and 5 of them so far are American. Like, diversify a little bit, guys. You got a big roster.
At least you'll get Shinsuke or Ray in it.
Yeah, I think they got. Well, Ray was born in San Diego. I mean, he's Mexican, ethnically Mexican. But you're right. Yeah,
You're killing the gimmick.
they won't. Only really particular people like myself would be the ones to point that out. No, he was born in America, not in Mexico. But so World Cup qualifier. What else do we have tonight on SmackDown?
Rusev and Miz for that.
No, Rusev. Yeah. But any other matches announced? Mark Henry's going to be there. I know that. And
Yes,
Big Show.
Mark
They said
Henry-
Big Show. and
Big
Mark
Show's
Henry.
wrestling. Big Show's wrestling for the first time in like a year.
Big Show wrestled last week.
Oh.
He wrestled Randy Orton last week.
Oh, was that last week?
That was last week.
But if he wrestles this week, it'll be an interesting statistic. He'll be one of very few people to wrestle or appear on the first episode of SmackDown and the 1000th episode of SmackDown.
Oh, and you know what else? We have something pretty big tonight.
Oh,
That's not it.
I was like,
That's a YouTube advertisement. Thank you.
I
YouTube.
thought it, I thought you were gonna be playing Charlotte's music for a second. It sounded like a plane taking off.
But we do have Batista in the house, and
I'm excited.
possibly a little evolution.
I hope they at least acknowledge how big of a fucking star Batista is right now.
Yeah.
Didn't he? Did he officially leave for the next Guardians of the Galaxy? Like he quit, right?
There's no word that there's even gonna be one right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
that's up in the
Yeah,
air.
because they when Marvel fired the guy over those tweets, James Gunn, the cast wanted him to get rehired, and they said no because they just made a decision based on the fact that he made jokes about like raping babies or something. I don't know. Anyway,
Some really off color jokes.
yeah, they were very off color. I mean, he worked for Trauma Entertainment. Trauma Entertainment made not Swamp Thing. The help me out, Ryan.
I don't. I'm
Toxic
really-
Avenger.
Yeah.
They made the Toxic Avenger and all those B movies, very low budget stuff. So he was involved in that, and they're all kind of like schlocky horror things. So of course he said some off color stuff. But anyway, they fired him over it. Now he's writing the new Suicide Squad movie, which that's the only way that another Suicide Squad movie is going to be good, is because he's a good writer, despite the fact that he's potentially a creep. But yeah, so there's no actual announcement.
The tweet before the outrage came out.
Yeah, he was just unfortunate that he got caught. Here's the thing. Certain groups of people made it okay to go back and search every single thing that someone has ever posted on the internet, regardless of when or where they were in their lives or what year it was, and make it relevant in 2018. So unfortunately, he got caught in that crossfire. I really like the Guardians movies, but at the same time, it is kind of deliciously ironic that people who probably love those movies were the ones going on the witch hunt on the first place, and then the witch hunt got turned on them. So maybe that's a lesson to stop doing this shit. And
The lesson will never be learned.
Oh no, I understand. I know that lesson will never be learned. But
I saw you going for hope, and I just had to squash it.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Keep me grounded in reality. But yeah, so there's no announcement for Guardians 3 so far, and there's the only thing we know for certain is he'll have some appearance in the new Avengers 4 whenever that comes out next summer, I guess.
Next May, I
Next
believe.
May. So,
Which is huge.
oh, that's huge. I mean, the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the first one surprised everybody by being as good as it was and being as big of a hit as it was, because nobody knew who the hell the Guardians of the Galaxy were.
Right.
You knew the Avengers, you knew Spider-Man and all those guys, but and Iron Man and whoever else, the Hulk, but you didn't know the Guardians of the Galaxy. They got
You had a talking tree and raccoon.
They got you to care about
So good.
talking tree and
I am
raccoon,
you.
and then they kept it going. Like sequels could be bad, and that sequel was amazing. I think the sequel was better than the first one. But right now, there's no plans for GOTG 3, and they are going to be in the new Avengers movie. But
May
then,
3rd.
But Batista's in that other movie, and then he's going to be in the Bond movie.
he was Inspector. He was in Hotel Artemis. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
And I'm sure if he's out from Marvel, he could go right over to DC.
I think they would.
Suicide Squad.
Man, there's too much money on the table for the. Yeah, I know for the Suicide, but I mean, like as far as Marvel's concerned, they've got to do something with the Guardians to keep them alive, because there's that you can't leave that money on the table. That is their. Aside from the Avengers, that's the big money franchise for Marvel.
Oh, I'm just talking.
Yeah. Oh, if
they
it dries up and they don't do it.
enough.
Yeah.
Is
Question.
he going to be Blue Tista?
Yeah, we got about 15 minutes till
Handle the question.
SmackDown. We do have some questions, right?
We definitely have questions. I want Batista to come out dressed like Drax once, please.
Yes. I wouldn't put him through that makeup though.
Oh, I know. Maybe they can like a
Nothing goes over my head.
morph suit or
I
something.
catch it.
All right, so we have
Will the Rock
be there live?
be there live or via video? Jinx.
Who sent that one? And do we have a name on that one? That was from your Snapchat.
Hold
what did
on.
it say? What did it say?
Will The Rock be there live or via video?
Oh, probably video.
I would assume video. They would have said he was going to be there unless they really, really wanted a big surprise.
It could happen though.
I would love for him to be there, but
Yeah, it'd be great. I think there's definitely going to be some kind of Rock segment, but it is probably going to, as long as it's like, "Hi, Paige here."
If we get that promo again, I'm gonna shoot myself.
I'm in a new film with The Rock called Wrestling with My Family. No,
Oh my god.
he'll probably be a tape segment. Let's see here. I don't know who sent that. Thank you, whoever sent that via Amanda's Snapchat, or not Snapchat, Instagram Live, or Instagram Story rather. So you can follow her Instagram story and then ask questions as she wears Sasha Banks sunglasses. That's how she begins today. Scotty
They're very
NASCAR, Scotty Styles 29. Your thoughts, and it's a screenshot from Charlotte Flair is being sued by her ex-husband who claims she defamed her in his new book by falsely claiming he shoots blanks. Buddy, you just want to keep that shit to yourself.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you know what? He's how is he going to prove this in court?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
no spam.
That's fucking funny.
for $5 million.
Whereas defense could be like, I know from experience.
I know. I
It'd
mean,
be like, Charlotte, come here. I'll prove it to you.
yeah, it would be bad if he just lost it and just jumped up on the witness stand and started beating off in front of the jury. Is this what you wanted? Is this what the proof you want? This is on you. This is all on you. It's your fault.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, he's being dragged away by two bailiffs and he's still pulling at his putt as they're dragging him into holding. Just give it a minute. Now, that'd be the thing. If he doesn't do it, then he's sunk. It definitely doesn't help his case. But Flair's claiming he was wrongly fired. Not claiming he was fired from 2 jobs due to illicit drug use. Multiple cases of false allegations of Flair. Is this Bram?
I think it's from the book that
it's Bram, I think, from TNA.
Ricky Paul Johnson is his name. I didn't think Bram's name was Ricky Paul Johnson.
Well, maybe it's not. I could be.
I don't know how many times. I mean, she's a Flair. I don't know how many times she's been married. Bram could be her second husband, or third, or 12th. Who knows?
I do think that was her first and only.
Yeah,
I think.
Ricky Paul. Anyway, this guy is suing. I mean, what can you say? I guess maybe the guy is going to go and get a one of those tests. The semen tests to prove it. I don't know. Again, I don't know how you prove a negative.
Yeah,
it's just it's weird. So that might be the greatest court case ever, and I want to see it on court TV. They don't even have court TV anymore, but I would love it if they showed that trial. I'm just very curious about how he goes about and proves himself.
Yeah.
2 questions from Andre in New Mexico. Is Crown Jewel going to happen? Yes. And who do we want as a surprise entrant in the Women's Battle Royal? Karma. Those are my 2 answers. Feel free to share. Is Crown Jewel going to happen, and who do we want to see?
Probably.
You know who I would love to be as a surprise? AJ.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
AJ
I heard the Bellas wanted AJ, and then I don't know if it was the WWE or AJ who said no, but I guess there was at least discussions about AJ coming in and working with the Bellas. Instead of Ronda. I don't really know, but the Bellas wanted. I guess from what I read a couple days ago, the Bellas wanted AJ to be there, which is nice. That's very nice.
That is nice.
I hope Paige is involved somehow too.
It'd be nice.
Well, Paige isn't getting in the ring.
No, I know she's not getting in the ring, but if we're acknowledging the evolution of women's wrestling, AJ and Paige.
For a second, and say Paige here, and then
Paige, yeah. Oh, you know who'd be good? Caitlyn, because she didn't win the Mae Young Classic, and I'm salty about that.
We could do she could do a live promo for a movie.
Yeah, that would be great, and then they could just have the actors recreate it.
Oh.
No, they could have the Riot Squad be all 3 characters.
Anyone notice Tamina is back?
Yeah, she just kind of snuck back in there.
She snooked back in.
Oh, man.
I didn't care. How bad is that?
Yeah, no, I mean,
I really didn't even notice she was gone.
I was like, oh, look, Tamina.
Yeah, that was my reaction. I was like, oh, all right, Tamina's back.
She's here. The thing that kind of was disappointing was Sasha came back to like a wet fart of a pop from everybody.
Yeah.
Like there was just no.
Well, because it should have been Sasha coming out by herself.
Yeah. I agree.
Bailey had already been out with Finn Balor too, so
they don't know what to do. It's almost like when you're not in the main event, they forget about you and they forget what to do.
Yeah.
Like now that Charlotte's, it's Charlotte and Becky in the main event. They don't do anything with Asuka and Ember and all those other girls. And if you're on the Raw side, Ronda's in there with the Bellas, and then everybody else kind of falls to the wayside.
They don't know how to do other storylines for the women other than the title matches.
Other than title matches, I don't trust that bitch because, of course, women are bitches and change their mind. You slept with my man because women are whores. They go through all the, the classic stereotyping of, hey, look at how terrible people, women are. We're going to base it on a storyline.
Nailed it.
I mean, they only go 3 or 4 deep here, unfortunately. It would be nice if we got, and I'm going to sound a little bit like Jim Cornette here, if we got back to the point of wrestling being a fucking sport where there's a fucking championship that everybody wants to fucking win. Why? Because if you're the champion and you win matches, you make more money. And more money means you're a bigger star and all this. Like, it has to be a sport. That's where this breaks down. If the outside stuff for the, non-title in the women's or the men's was somebody saying, I want to be champion and I need to earn that title shot and building their way up, that's a story. It's not who jumped who in the parking lot and then we don't know for 6 months. I don't give a fuck about who jumped whoever in the parking lot after 6 months. It happened 6 months ago. Nobody gives a shit anymore. I want people who want to compete for a title, competing for a title and being their best athlete they can be and laying it out there in the ring. The promos and all that, yes, it's all important. It's been important to have a story. But at the core of it, if we get away from the fact that it's wrestling and there's a goal here to be the champion or to make the most money or to win the most matches, we kind of lose the plot.
You're not wrong.
That is my old man rant for the day.
You're not wrong, though.
It's just like that. The Bella Twins want the title, and then because the Bella Twins want the title and Ronda has the title, does that mean everybody else just sits at home and knits? Like, what the fuck? You should have people out there going, "Oh, well, this is a qualifier for the next 4 women who win their matches over the next 4 weeks get put into a 4-way match." Right, fatal 4-way, and then they get a number 1 contendership, and then you build the next pay-per-view. I don't know. It's little things like that I'm kind of missing in today's product.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing that bothers me about the whole thing. Like, Nikki, okay, she turns on Ronda, and then all of a sudden, oh, I've got a title shot. Like, how does that work?
Yeah,
magic.
Now, I mean, it's the convenience of WWE writing, and I can't even say that. Go ahead.
I like your idea you said you had last week about during the match it comes down to interference from Brie, and then Karma comes back and they kind of finalize that whole.
Oh, I would love that.
That would be the best long-term booking ever. Karma
that would be the best outcome for me as far as that match goes.
Their mishandling of the women's division would be redeemed at least a little bit in my eyes.
Yeah, that way I could justify Nikki being in the main event.
Because we had
I hate to say it, but I think we got a much better shot at seeing AJ Lee return than we do Karma, unfortunately.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, but the Girls of Glow are going to be there.
Yeah. But see, AJ would be redeemable too for the same purpose.
Yeah, I mean AJ was involved with them too. Any appearance by Karma would be fantastic.
Just the music alone would be great.
Oh, the music. I mean, it would just be nice because she had so much potential to break out the women's division the way the women's division broke out in the last few years. She could have done it a couple years earlier because she was a wrestler. She wasn't a model or a Hawaiian Tropics bikini contest search contestant or whatever the fuck it was. She was a wrestler and she wanted to wrestle. And if unfortunately she had her problems with the miscarriage and then the fall, the psychological fallout from the miscarriage. That's all tough stuff to handle, and I understand it. But it's just the what ifs of Karma continuing her WWE run it's always going to be out there, man. She was one. Still, I consider her one of the best women's wrestlers. So it'd be nice if she got out there.
Her stuff in TNA was fantastic.
She fought the little blonde girl whose name I don't remember anymore because she retired. Taylor Wilde. She had good matches with Gail Kim.
Amazing matches with Gail Kim.
And I mean, she was able to put on good matches with anybody. And because she was so big and the other girls were so small, they could do those spots where she could throw them around like a rag doll and they would sell and she'd look like a beast. I mean, it was wonderful. So yeah, I hope she gets some acknowledgement. I hope she comes out and has some sort of interaction, whether it's the Battle Royal or talking to the Bellas and at least acknowledging that whole thing. I don't know, but it would be nice for Carmen to be back out there. The one thing we really didn't talk about, and I guess we can't really get into geopolitical politics in 3 minutes, but we'll do as best we can, is whether or not Crown Jewel is going to happen. I think it's yes. I think, like Meltzer said, unless Donald Trump calls them directly or the State Department orders it, they're going full steam ahead with this show.
I don't see how they cancel it. I don't. They have too much invested in it already.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening. And then if it did happen, then what happens to guys like Shawn Michaels and everybody else? Because I'm hearing things like if it doesn't happen, Shawn Michaels isn't gonna come out of retirement and
that's his big payday. He's supposed to get at least one of these Saudi Arabian paydays.
Yeah.
And I mean
that'd be really awkward too.
Well, I heard Michaels is getting paid no matter what, so they better do it then.
Oh, all right. Well, if he's getting paid, if he's getting the money no matter what, then they could have the match in Nutley, New Jersey, for all I fucking care.
Home of Balls Mahoney.
Yes, exactly. For those of you paying attention at home. But yeah, they could run that out of a Walmart parking lot and people come to see it. Undertaker and Kane against DX. I don't think it's going to. There's a whole thing. We are not a politics podcast. I had a whole thing prepared about how the guy was more of a the guy that was unfortunately killed was more of a not a journalist, more of an opinion writer, and his uncle was involved with Iran-Contra. And here's the thing, the prince that's in charge of Saudi Arabia right now, it seems like he wants to do a modernization of Saudi Arabia, Western expansion, allowing countries like the U.S. and European countries to have more of a presence in Saudi Arabia, have a good relationship with them. Unfortunately, he's like the only one that thinks that. So there's a regime that's kind of working against him that wants U.S. and Saudi Arabia relations to go poorly, both within Saudi Arabia and within Turkey, because Turkey and Saudi Arabia are rivals as well. So this whole thing is a fucking mess. And what it boils down to is right now you've got Chris Murphy, state of Connecticut senator. Anytime Chris Murphy says anything, he's full of shit. So let's just, I hate him. Anyway, we're going to close up right at 8 anyway, man. I just saw the message. So I'm not going to go into this whole thing. I don't like the direction this thing in Saudi Arabia is headed, and I don't think it's entirely the prince that's in charge's fault. I don't think it's Donald Trump's fault. I think there's other factors at work where people are trying to pull the strings in the background to make an international incident in Saudi Arabia to lead to conflict and bloodshed and all that. And I think having somebody like the WWE come in and be not peacemaker necessarily, but coming in to show that it's not as contentious. Not all Americans hate Saudi Arabians or whatever it is. Like it could be a good thing. It could be a good thing. I want to stay positive about it because the alternative is this thing all goes south and we're plunged into World War III.
Oh, boy.
And we're sending troops to Saudi Arabia because that's really what there's starting to be rumblings about. Some people want military action. I don't want any military action. I want this shit to cease. So I'm hoping that we can come to a resolution politically and also come to a resolution with business-wise with WWE. Because a lot of people who are complaining about this tend to misremember that Vince McMahon paid off a police department to not investigate a murder committed by Jimmy Snuka. They forget that the Ultimate Warrior was the world's biggest homophobe and racist. And yet they've got an award that they trot out every year and they give to a guy in a wheelchair and a kid with cancer. Like, Stephanie McMahon admitted all of their charity work is for publicity. I mean, there's just shitty things going on in the WWE all the time. So if you're going to stop watching or whatever it is, you would have stopped watching a long fucking time ago. This Saudi Arabia thing, you're grandstanding. WWE is a shady business. Wrestling's a shady business. It's a carny business. It always has been for the last 200 years. It's just that kind of business.
Pro wrestling.
If you look far enough back at every pro wrestler, they're probably an asshole. If you look deeply enough, it probably did some shit that you didn't like. So you got to decide: is this the hill you want to die on, or I don't know. I just don't think people are freaking out about it in advance, and once it happens, they're gonna jump to something else and some other hot button political issue, and then nobody's gonna remember Saudi Arabia anymore. So we'll see what happens on November 5th after the show has already taken place, if people still have their long memories.
Nope, they'll be moved on to the next
right, the next outrage or whatever it is. All right, 8:02. We should probably get going. SmackDown's going to start. SmackDown 1000, important show. Hope you all watch it. Steve, do we have any other stuff Tag Me a Date wise to let them know about?
No, that's I did it at the beginning. We're pretty
good stuff. So if you haven't gone to tagmeadate.com, go to tagmeadate.com and register. You can find your tag team match. Over 70,000 superstars and divas waiting for you to tag them in. Send a message, do a search. It's all free right now. And iPhone and Android apps are forthcoming. We pre-announced our announcement, and we will announce our announcement once the announcement has been announced. And otherwise, you should follow us on social media at Tag Me a Date, no spaces, Tag Me a Date. It's all one word, at Tag Me a Date on social media, as well as on YouTube. If you go to the YouTube search on youtube.com, you type in Tag Me a Date, you will find our channel. You can subscribe, hit the bell to get the notifications from when we upload a new video or go live. And you can tune in when we go live from that YouTube account. And we go live Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. on Eastern time. We're almost at the daylight savings time change. So if you're international, that will affect you. Just Google it when that daylight savings time change comes. And then you'll just adjust your clocks accordingly. If you're in the U.S., there's nothing to worry about. You can just tune in at the regular time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the Tag Me a Date YouTube channel. And send emails if you have any questions. AskTheWarReport@gmail.com. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, NASCAR guy, whoever that was. Everybody that asked questions. You will all be in the Wrestle Rumble Pick'em contest. And if you want to be entered in the Wrestle Rumble Pick'em contest, send us a question. AskTheWarReport@gmail.com or hashtag AskTheWarReport on social media and tag us at TagMeADate. That'll do it for now. Let's go watch SmackDown. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Tag Me a Date YouTube, 7 p.m. Tuesday. See you next week.